And I'm joined by Alison Sargent in the studio. Hi, Alison.
Hi, Delano.
You're starting out in Kerala, where the flooding has started to subside.
Right, Delano, which means the time has come to start assessing some of the damage from these floods. The Hindu, on its front page today, is reporting that road and rail services have at least been partially restored in the state. Deaths, though, continue to be reported. Several hundred people have been killed, hundreds of thousands displaced. The Times of India, on its front page, is focused on just how record-breaking this flood season has been. This has been the rainiest August Kerala has seen in 87 years, and it's only the 21st.
And now, obviously, what comes to mind is the role of climate change in all of this.
Right, and there's an article in The Guardian that gives one example of how climate change is helping to create this extreme weather. They cite research that shows that higher air temperatures in the Arctic are slowing down global wind patterns, and that causes higher temperatures to stick around, to linger, giving us heat waves and floods and huge storms that are allowed to build up in the ocean. Meanwhile, French paper L'Humanité is warning of more floods to come on their front page today. They remind us that this is the second year in a row that we've seen extreme flooding in South Asia, and the paper points the finger very firmly at climate change and at humans, especially those who are living in wealthier countries and haven't been doing more to limit their greenhouse gas emissions. And to really drive the point home, Humanité cites former French President Jacques Chirac, who said, "Our house is on fire and we are looking the other way."
Indeed. Now, switching gears next to reactions from revelations that one of the leaders of the Me Too movement herself has been accused of sexual abuse. Tell us more.
Right. This accusation was against the Italian actress Asia Argento. She is on all of the front pages of the Italian papers today, pretty much. It's worth noting that the Italian press was already very, very critical of her for her role in the Me Too movement. Many said that the Italian press was actually slut-shaming her over her role in that. And they're at it again today. Delano, you can see here the right-wing paper Libero is sort of reveling in these revelations about Argento with their headline, Asia Argento Grotesca, which literally translates to grotesque. And that second headline there, the molested molests a minor, because of course her accuser, who was a co-star, was 17, underage at the time. Even Corriere della Sera is calling her Asia Weinstein in a column on their front page.
It's a bit harsh.
Right, it is, pointing out that, you know, what they see is a hypocrisy, that the victim has turned out to be the perpetrator, and I guess somehow that means she can't still be a victim, which she is. So basically, this response is exactly what supporters of the Me Too movement were so worried about with this revelation, that it would be used to discredit the movement. Many people have been on the offensive, speaking out on social media to defend Me Too. In particular, the movement's founder, Tarana Burke. She's quoted here in the New York Times. She says, "The case of Asia Argento does not discredit the Me Too movement. It actually proves that it's working." Many people are disappointed in Argento, just like many have been disappointed by some of the men and other women who have been called out for this behavior before her. And Tarana Burke says, you know, ultimately there is no model survivor.
Exactly. It seems like no one is perfect. Now, staying with Hollywood, but a different kind of story now, and that's the Crazy Rich Asians that seems to be doing very, very well.
Very, very well. It was #1 at the box office in the U.S. this weekend. If you haven't heard about this movie, it's based on a book about a Chinese-American woman who's dating a very wealthy Singaporean man and goes to Singapore to visit his very wealthy family. It's a romantic comedy, but it's getting a lot of attention because it's the first Hollywood film in 25 years with an all-Asian cast. And this is something that means quite a bit to Asian Americans. You can see one Chinese-American journalist is writing here in The National that the movie is her Wakanda moment. Wakanda was, of course, the fictional African nation in the movie Black Panther, which was a film that had a mainly African and African-American cast and had many people, black people around the world, very excited. Crazy Rich Asians, though, has not been met with the same sort of celebration and euphoria in other Asian countries, particularly in Singapore.
Really?
No, I pulled out this review from the Yahoo News Singapore. They call it frustrating and Singapore light. The main criticism, Delano, is that the film shows only Singaporeans of Chinese descent and pretty much ignores the country's minorities. It also shows only the wildly luxurious and wealthy side of the city, but the reviewer does point out that the tourism board of Singapore is likely to be pretty happy about that.
Clearly, it makes people want to go. And finally, Alison, we were talking about the Me Too movement earlier. One group, however, is offering a solution for men who may be having a hard time with it, a feminist camp.
Right, a feminist camp, a camp for men to learn how to become more feminist. This is a thing that exists. A reporter from Elle magazine spent the weekend there talking to men. It's run by a group called Women Teach Men. Participants there said their favorite part about this was having a space to talk about what it means to be a man in the wake of the Me Too movement, and to have the women who were leading the workshops help them with their feelings of feeling kind of vilified over the movement. Some might find this whole idea a little bit ridiculous, and I have to say it is very expensive, but all all in all, not a terrible idea.
Indeed, for some men, clearly. Thank you very much. Alison Sargent there with the day's press review. You can check out the full press review on our website. The address is france24.com.